This is one of the coolest, if not the coolest terrariums I've ever built.
For the longest time, I've been in need of a place to work on. A surface where I can scape small tanks, prep plants, or just a landing space for tools during maintenance. I knew I wanted something like a kitchen island, a big flat surface and some shelf underneath for storage. But then I came across an account called exoticworld.eu, and he had this table with an integrated terrarium, which immediately got my brain going. Of course I need to build a workbench/terrarium. And so began the research. What do I need in terms of tools? What do I need in terms of material? And how much will this cost? Well, it all started with a miter saw.
Dra ut den där och så är han lös.
Okej. Ooh. Then came the structural planning. It needs to be big enough to work on, but not too big so it doesn't fit through the door. I settled for 125 centimeters long, 65 centimeters wide, and 90 centimeters tall. The bones will be made out of 70 by 70 millimeter posts. I didn't feel comfortable doing this by myself, so I called Terrarium to help me. And it turns out that we are a great team together. The next step was to cut out a groove for the side glass panels. And for this, I used my circular saw.
Remember, if you want to do something like this, don't do it in your studio where you have terrariums, and especially when you have a carpet. I'm not going to tell my girlfriend I did this.
I added some angled brackets in every corner for stability.
The next thing is to add this little frame piece here, and on top of this we're gonna add the sliding tracks for the glass doors. So what we need to do is to drill a hole and then put some screws. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, stable as a mamacita. Oi! I cracked it. Yes! So you can see that there's a gap here. So I'm gonna do an experiment. I'm gonna take some of this wall filler and I'm gonna just put it in between here. I think it's gonna work. So I'm back in my garage now where probably woodwork should be done. And I have this giant board here that is going to be the floor for the terrarium, and it's also going to be the back for the terrarium. So now what I need to do is to cut this. So first you measure 7 is there, and then you measure 7 is there, and then 7 should be automatically here. Yep. My measurements are correct. This should now fit in underneath to create the floor. How do I fix this now? I cut out way too much. I mean, I don't even want to show you this, but take your measurements before you do stuff like this. You can see it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. I think I have a solution here. See if this fits now. So what I did here is just cut out a piece of wood here, another one in this corner, and another one here. Finally, another one here. It's not the prettiest work I've done in my life, but who cares? This is just going to be underneath the sand anyway. This is not going to be visible. What did we learn from this mistake? Take proper measurement, take your time, don't rush it, and don't buy furniture from me. What I want to do now is to secure this here, but first I need to cut it. This is the sliding glass tracks that I'm now going to silicone to the tanky. And hopefully I've measured this distance correctly. I would say spot on. Silicone. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. And oh yeah. Can't be more oh yeah than this. Yeah, so it's now the next day. I have put some filler in all the holes and I added a piece here and a piece there also. I want to sand everything down now and then paint it. So it's now the next day and I can't believe how good it looks now with paint. I'm super excited to get this going. You can't really see all the mistakes that I have done, but I have this old table that I also painted black. It's gonna look like this when it's done. I have some Epoxy. I have an agent A and an agent B because I don't know if the paint that I have used is animal safe or humidity safe. You're supposed to mix this a 1-to-1 ratio, I think. Let's just read. B Pro in ratio 2-to-1. And we just give this a little stir up. And I'm gonna focus on the inside. This not only waterproofs it, but also seals in the paint. It's been a few hours now and epoxy is still curing. I went to the glass man, so what I want to do now, as this is curing, is to add silicone to all the seams that I cut out and add the windows. That is getting me super excited. Let's go. Yes.
I'm cutting out some trim to further secure the glass, and this will also hide the silicone. Another day has passed and the silicone has cured. I'm now debating in my mind how I should cover this. If I should have a frame that goes edge to edge, or if it should be more like a picture frame, but I'm not sure. I decided to go edge to edge. I think I would have to paint at least the inner side black, wait for it to dry, then attach it. Once everything was dry-ish, I secured the frame with silicone and some nails. We're now very close to being done with the building part of this enclosure. I mean, before we can start building the background and, decorating it. But there are two things I want to do before we start building that. And number one is to drill hole for ventilation. And number two is to add a pond liner so it's completely waterproof in the bottom. And to make the holes, I have this beast of a machine. We have a 60mm drill bit here, a hole saw. We're gonna make one hole here, and that's for cables. One hole here for ventilation, one hole here for ventilation. Then we're gonna see if that's enough. All right, let's test it. Right. I have this plastic thing that is exactly 60mm, so it should perfectly fit in the hole. And it has this thing that you can push to open, and then you can run your cables through here. Hopefully this should fit perfectly here, which it did. Now we can finally work on the background. Yes. I used my hot knife to carve out some rough shapes in the styrofoam. No need to go crazy here with the details. That will come later on with the concrete. And speaking of which, I'm happy to announce that Makemake has now launched an international website and that they now ship in the whole of Europe and UK. One day it might even be available in the US. Link in the description. I want the first layer of concrete to be like Nutella, so that I can easily spread it. The goal here is to just cover the foam. So it's now the next day, and I'm gonna mix up a new batch of concrete for two reasons. Number one, for stability, and also if I add another second layer, I can then, with a sharp knife or a sharp tool or something, add details to it. Right. You see, this time is much more denser. And I'm just gonna first cover everything with, you know, 1/2 centimeter layer of concrete. This, according to me, is the best way to make backgrounds. And now for the final part, I've made the concrete even thicker, so it's really like clay. So if I want this to be really pointy, I can just apply it like this and, you know, make the shape. And then I just continue down. It's a little bit rounded at the moment, but in a couple of hours we're gonna come back and create the details. All right, som man sa på skånska. So, I've had my lunch and now it's time to do some detailing. It's been about maybe 1.5 hours since I added the second layer and the concrete has been beginning to dry. And what I'm gonna do now is just to create some interests, because we could leave it as is, but it will be much more interesting for the eye if we create details. This one is very smooth and boring, yeah? What if we just do like this on it? Scrape away on one side, scrape a little bit here, you know, just rough it up a bit. And then what if we want to add little cracks? So now this looks more natural to me. Do the same thing here. This looks a bit too smooth to me. And this is just screaming to be flattened out to me. I'm going to flatten it here and then flatten it even more here. And this is why I like to add such a thick layer. Here we can maybe make a little crack, brush that off. And you know, you crack it here, chip it off, and you create these chips. See, oh, even more detail. You do this, oh, even more detail. And then you do that. Schmack-a-boom. This whole area, compared to how it looked before, compared to how it looks now, it's day and night. We can make a little incision here. We go into the hole and flick. We go into this crack and flick. Flack. Flick, 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 flack, a waka, flack, a flame. Here is also kind of boring, just normal smooth. Just a little indentation scrape. And all of a sudden we have detail here. We do on the other side, just very careless. Now I want this to be a bit more pointy, so I'm just gonna cut off, literally cut it off. Just like that. So I'm in the studio now and I have the lid right here of the tank and I'm trying to figure out where I should place the heat light and where I should place the LED light. And so far I come up with that should be 40 centimeters this side and 40 centimeters this side. $30 centimeters in. I ran out of time yesterday. It's now a new day. The concrete is fully cured and dried, and before we test the lights, I want to finish the background. So I've set up a station here with a scale, and we got this liquid acrylic called Color Fix, and I'm going to add, let's start with 200 grams. And if you read here on the back, it says to get a saturated paint,
you need to mix 250 milliliter color with 100 milliliter powder. Let's, for simplicity, add another 50 grams. So to this now we need to add 100 grams of pigment. I'm gonna do it predominantly white. Just a little touch of black, so we get that grayish color. Then I just have a toothbrush, an old toothbrush to mix it. I like to have a piece of styrofoam that I can test the color on. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more. Final test. Yeah, that's more like it. When you're doing this, it's important to not wear your favorite clothes, because inevitably you will spill everywhere. So I'm gonna remove this nice jacket. Now it's just a case of grabbing a pencil, brush, and simply add it to the background. So what's happening now is the concrete is absorbing this liquid acrylic. Once this is dry, it's safe for your animals and it's waterproof. And you can use it underwater, you can use it in an aquarium. And seeing it now, it's maybe a little bit too light in color. And I don't know why it gets this almost bluish tint to it. But we're gonna fix this in just a second. My primary goal right now is to just cover the background completely with this. And then we're gonna keep adding layers on top of it. I don't know how it's possible. If I mix black and white and it turns blue. Why is it blue? Is it some sort of reaction with the concrete? Because if you look at the styrofoam, gray, 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 blue. Why? Alright, so it's been an hour and I've tested this new color.
This time I mixed in some yellow and brown. Apparently colors work the same way as light. You have cold light, which is more blue, and then you have warm light, which is more yellow. So if you want a warm gray, you have to mix in some warm colors like yellow, brown, or even red.
As this is drying, I can see that you can still see some of the darkness of the blue. So we have created now what I think is, according to Bob Ross, a happy little accident. Now
I'm gonna share a secret little tip. To make the background look nature mature, I mix green, brown, black with color fix, apply it to the background, and immediately I wash it away with water and a sponge. This will make the background look like it's dirty, and that algae and stuff is growing on it. After working countless hours on this enclosure, I can finally start scaping. I mix organic topsoil with sand and gravels in different sizes for substrate. There's no space for drainage layer. Originally, this was designed to be a desert enclosure, so I just have to mist carefully. Now let's put together a cool scape. It looks like they've chosen their spot for the night. Sleep tight.